Okay, right, here we are in Camtasia Studio, and the purpose of this video is to just show you around it, give you some idea of what is where and what we use. Now, I'm going to go into the stuff that's important for what we want to do. So there are some things I'm not going to cover, but it's things you don't really need to worry yourself about, and why overcomplicate it when you don't have to. So here's the screen you'll see when you first start up Camtasia Studio. You can see I've got some projects over here which I've been working on, which are loaded up. And then you've got the options to import media, etc. But I'm going to do it exactly how I do it. So I'm just going to close this up, okay? And I'm going to show you around the actual screen. Now the screen is pretty much split into three distinct parts. You've got this part here, which is where we will actually see what we're working on. So this is our final project, and we can actually run through it like we would any other video while we're working on it. Down the bottom here is our timeline. This is where we'll be adding things to in the form of videos and audio and images, things like that. And this is where all the editing and extra stuff goes on, and I'll show you how to do that in a different video. Now over in the top left is a kind of multi-purpose area. Now I'm going to go into each one of these aspects in their own video, so I'm not going to confuse things right now. But basically this is where you put all the different things you want for your project, so like your videos and your audio stuff and your visuals. And along here are various places you can click on in order to do the various edits and to add things when you need them. Now like I say, I'm not going to go into them all on this video because I think that'll confuse things. So for now, just be aware that this is somewhere you'll be coming to for all sorts of different things. Now before you can start any sort of project whatsoever, you're going to have something in here to work on. Now we've already covered how you actually act on camera and how you make these videos, so you should have something now stored on your computer somewhere in whatever format you decided on. Now to add them to a project, all you have to do is import them in. By default, Camtasia Studio gives you a new project when you open it up, so all we've got to do now is go and import those videos into this project. To do that, all you do is go up to Import Media here, or into the File menu here, and down to Import Media, or you can press Ctrl and I if you're on a Windows machine. So seeing as I'm here, I'll just click this, and it'll take me to my folders so I can choose what to import. Now I've just grabbed a couple of the files that I've been working on anyway, and I've popped them in here so we can use them as examples for all of these projects. Now this is the intro video, and as you can see I did a couple of takes of it in order to get the best out of it. So all you have to do is click on the one you want to import, or you can actually choose multiple files if you want to get them all at once. So we're going to do that. We're actually going to press Ctrl and click that, or we could drag and drop over it to select everything in our folder. Then we just click Open. Now this imports them into here in what's called the clip bin. Now the clip bin will actually show everything. It's not just video clips, even though it's called a clip bin, it can be anything. So you'll have your audio files and your images, and everything else that's going to be used in your project will end up in here. So it's as easy as that to import things. It's exactly the same process if you want to import a music file or anything like that. You just click on import in whichever place suits you best. You choose the folder that it's in, and then you just double click or select and click open. And it will appear right in this clip bin for you to use. You can actually view anything that you've got just by double clicking it within the clip bin, and it will appear over here on this side.
Okay, this is the first.
I'll pause that just for now. This is a great way of seeing whether you've got the right clips in place and whether the audio is what you thought it was, all that sort of thing, before you actually start editing with it. Now this isn't actually doing anything as far as editing and projects is concerned. It is literally just a preview. If you want to use it in your project, then all you have to do is come back over to the clip bin, grab the file that you want to use, hold it down and drag and drop it onto the timeline below. Now when I let go of this, it will put this on my timeline ready for me to actually use it in my project. The first thing it's going to do is ask you to choose the dimensions you want to edit it in. Now depending on what you recorded it on, it may be in different resolutions and dimensions. That's fine. But if you can, what I do is I recommend you come down and you choose the one that's recommended for YouTube. This is because you can export this in HD and it'll look good, and it also means that most places you're going to use this on will be compatible. So we'll go ahead and choose that. It's 1280 by 720 and click. Now what this does is it means that you're going to be editing your project with these dimensions in mind, which means anything that fits on the screen in your preview of your project will be fine in the real deal. It also asks you for a background colour, and this is pretty important when it comes to our green screen stuff, because when we take out our background completely, we need to have something behind us. Now a lot of the time this might be a video clip or some sort of visual thing, but I find that by having a standard background colour that most of your videos are on, this can save a lot of time in the editing phase. So I'm going to go ahead and choose my usual colour from here. Now as you can see, you've got quite a lot to choose from, so you decide what works best for you. But be aware that depending on what you're wearing in your actual video, you don't want it to clash too much. Now I'm going to choose a nice blue here, just so I've got something to base it all off of. And then we just click OK. Now you'll see that your screen has changed to the background colour we wanted, and down here we've got this clip. Now as you can see, it shows us our video and it also shows us the sound waves. Now if I just click and drag this to the beginning so that it's actually at the start, you can see that the head up here, depending on where I put it, shows the actual frame that I'm working on. Now that's great when it comes to editing, but that's something I'll cover in a different video. So now that we've added stuff to our actual project timeline, all we have to do now is save it. Now to do this, all you do is nip up to File, click Save Project, and give it a title. So for this, I'm just going to call it Example number 1 and hit Save. And that's all there is to it. We've now got a project called Example 1, which contains a couple of clips, one of which we've got on our timeline ready to edit. So let's move on to some actual editing and I can show you exactly how I make my videos.